How you doing, guys? Today in this live video broadcast, we're going to be talking about success in the fitness and health industry, particularly about two women who have spearheaded one of the first Airbrush elite companies in Asia. They are Marisa and Joanne, and we're going to bring them on here in just a moment. For those of you people who are just now logging in, who've never seen me before, my name is Bill Calhoun. I'm a health and wellness professional here in Singapore from California, and I'm going to have weekly podcasts, broadcasts from Facebook Live in terms of everything that has to do with professional fitness and professional individuals who are working in the fitness industry and getting you back to your healthiest, best that you can be. All right. So what I'd like you to do right now, if you haven't done this already, go ahead and share this broadcast, because Marisa and Joanne would really appreciate you shouting out to the rest of the world so they can know these two individuals and how successful they've been, and so they can follow their story. All right. So go ahead and share, and you can also follow, because every week we're going to be doing the same thing. So without further ado, if you're just now coming on, we are going to be talking about the journey of success in the health and wellness industry with Marisa Pitsch and Joanne Yeke. So let's bring them on right now. Okay. How you guys doing?
Hi, Bill. Good morning. We're doing great.
Hi.
Thank you.
Great.
So
Thanks so
Marisa,
much for that awesome introduction. First of all, I just want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to be on this amazing platform.
absolutely. Now, for those people who are looking at their screens, you're probably wondering, so who is Marisa and which one is Joanne? Okay, from your screen's perspective, okay, Marisa is on the left from your screen's perspective. If you're looking at this through either a smartphone or a laptop or a desktop, Joanne is on your, okay, now you see I'm holding my hands differently. Joanne is on your right. Okay, she's on this side. Marisa is on this side. God, it's so weird doing this stuff through mirrored images. Okay. All right. So folks, what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to find out a little bit about why Marisa and Joanne even decided to open up an Airbrush elite tanning business, you guys. I mean, what was all that about? Can you give us some insight?
Should we start with a really easy answer, which is just who doesn't love being tan? I guess that, being located here in Asia, a lot of people tend to think that we're fighting an uphill battle because there are different standards of beauty in Asia, which of course we absolutely respect as well. And that particular difference in standard of beauty is that fair skin is a little bit more coveted. But I do think that times are changing and that generations are adapting different viewpoints. And so particularly what we're talking about today in the fitness industry, having that healthy bronzed glow is something quite desirable. And the fitness industry, whether it's bodybuilding or physique competitions, they're gaining such huge presence now around Asia, not just in Singapore, but in the Philippines, Malaysia, even India, Thailand. So I think that, our impetus to start our Airbrush Elite Tanning business, which started in our minds back in December of last year, but officially just in June, at the end of June of this year, was motivated by the fact that, we know and recognize that viewpoints are changing, and we think that this was like the right time to just kind of jump on that, to jump on the bandwagon, or to spearhead the bandwagon, I should say.
Excellent. So now you mentioned just now that you decided to jump on it because you thought views were changing. Well, let's go all the way back here for a moment, because what I remembered, I'm sure a lot of viewers remember, is getting a tan, number one, by sitting out by the poolside, number two, by sitting at the beach, and number three, by going into a tanning salon. And now we have the airbrushing. I mean, the only time I remember airbrush, or the use of airbrush, is like when people are getting ready to spray graffiti on bridges in California. Can you like help us through with that anthology of the progression of airbrushing and tanning nowadays?
Well, the UV rays in Singapore, we happen to find ourselves in one of the highest index UV rays in the world here in Singapore. So that's number one, a good reason not to be sitting out in the sun. Also, the tanning booths are historically not good for you. They can intensify those UV rays onto your skin. And 90% of aging is generated by increased UV rays, and we all want to remain youthful forever, really. We want to reduce the number of wrinkles. We want to stay as healthy glow, but as healthy looking as we possibly can. So reducing the amount of time that we lie out in the sun and expose our skin to the sun helps that. Obviously, vitamin D is important, and we all need it every day. We don't generate it in our skin. So 10, 15 minutes in the sun is really all you need in order to get enough vitamin D into your body. And you can get that on your back. You don't have to get it on your face or on the front where it's potentially noticeable. So there's that side of things. And then the tanning side of things, the product itself has come a long way from back in the day in the 80s and 90s, where people historically thought if you were going to get spray tanned, you were going to turn out looking orange and maybe a heavy smell. And also it was messy, it didn't fade well, and all these different negative attachments to spray tanning. Whereas now, obviously, the systems, the product, everything, it's jumped forward. We're in the 21st century of spray tanning. So we see the product that we use Infinity Sun, which is the go-to preferred of the Hollywood elite. It actually, the tagline is where sunless tanning and timeless beauty unite, because the product itself is organic as it can be, because obviously it has DHA, but also it is hydrating to your skin. It's got aloe vera in there, and it smells very good. It doesn't have a strong, potent smell. It's a very light smell, and it's hydrating onto your skin, and it fades well, and you're going to look healthy and glowing without all of the sun negative connotations that that brings. So it's a positive. It's good. Your skin's going to thank you for years to come.
And I mean, also in addition, sorry, if I can just add on that.
Go ahead, Marisa, go ahead.
In addition, with the sunbeds, you are, as Joanne did mention, you're getting such a high dosage of the UV directly onto your skin. As Joanne mentioned, in addition to that, these tanning salons are using cleaning agents to clean the beds for sanitation purposes. You don't know what's in those cleaning solutions. You don't know whether all salons are necessarily cleaning it to the standards that we would clean our own houses. And so all of those agents are going onto your skin as well. And if you have skin sensitivities or allergies, you can't, not everybody knows to ask those questions before you're going into those sunbeds. So apart from the danger, there's kind of the sanitation aspect. And with booths, you don't have the human touch, which is kind of everything. I mean, from the experiences we have with our clients, when we spray tan them, we're not all evenly distributed with color. I mean, we see a lot of bodies every day. We see a lot of golf tan lines. We see a lot of other sporty tan lines. And we have to adjust the tone and the color to make our clients as even and as beautiful as possible before they leave our place. And you can't do that with the booth, because it's one setting with one button, and that's your lot. So with us, we're having our clients turn around at least 2-3 times and getting them an even keel before they leave our house. So it's, it's the human touch as well. And that's what we get to do with airbrush tanning.
Now that's interesting, because you mentioned golf, you mentioned a lot of things. So it's important for people to know that airbrushing and getting tan is not just for bodybuilders who are getting ready to go on stage, correct?
Not at all.
Yeah. No. And we were actually pleasantly surprised, because obviously when we started, we initially thought there'd be a high percentage of expat community, because they're the skin tone, etc., that like to be tanned. But we've been hugely surprised by the range of people that have contacted us, male, female, all ages, or people that we didn't necessarily automatically assumed would want to be tanned. But yeah, and a lot of sporty people, like you said, with the golfing tan, they don't want to have this defined line.
We have female rugby players who wear the sports bras and have, the sports bra marks on the back. So that presents a different kind of tanning challenge for us. And she calls herself Picasso because she likes to think that she can even out the worst of tan lines. And she can. She's pretty darn good at it. But yeah, so we are seeing it's definitely not just bodybuilders. Absolutely. I mean, the bodybuilders have a different tone that they like to be, that they have to be, but it's not our everyday.
So who's the largest demographic that actually gets tanning done? Because you mentioned something just now. You mentioned sort of like, as Marisa, as you mentioned, Joanne considers herself the Picasso. So that means you're doing kind of like touch-ups and stuff like that. And that's something that's new to probably all of us. We were just assuming that you'd airbrush and you just do the whole thing and nothing but the whole thing. But you're talking about touching up and stuff like this as well for other individuals. Can you explain that a little bit more? And in terms of the demographic or the target audience, who is your biggest clientele base?
So to touch on that, your question on the demographic, I would say we are largely seeing female of the expat community who just enjoy that healthy bronzed glow. So these are not women who are coming saying, make me dark. These are women who are coming and saying, do you know what? I'm a mother, I have kids, or I work. I do not have hours upon hours to be in the sun to get that kind of healthy bronzed glow that I like to have that makes me look and feel confident and great. I'm time poor, but at the same time, like I deserve to look and feel my best. So that I would say is our largest demographic. Females, career-oriented, or moms who, and then behind that, I would say are the athletes. Are the athletes. And again, it's not just the competitors. It's other athletes too who have galas to go to, parties, events to go to, and they need to even out those tan lines before they wear those beautiful dresses or, that just show the big old straps, the white straps on their body. So it's in Singapore, there's so many social events here in Singapore, and people are getting dressed up all the time for that. And so in addition to, just as a sideline, in addition to the tanning, we also have, as part of Infinity Sun's products, a shimmer spray. And that shimmer spray is made of crushed pearl, as well as humectants and exfoliants. I mean, so it really goes onto the skin, and when the lights of wherever you are hit the skin, it just reflects amazingly. And that's a quick, 10, 15 second spray right over your spray tan if you have that event to go to. That's done all from the same machine that we use. It's a really clever machine that we have. So that's another thing that we offer on top of the spray tans. But yeah, so I would say in terms of demographic, that's what we are looking at.
So you mentioned. Go ahead, Joanne.
Sorry, I was just going to say we are finding as well a lot of people pre-vacation and pre-vacation, but also going home to see family because there's a stigma, well, not a stigma, but when people live in the tropics and they automatically assume that everybody walks around with this healthy glow. But a lot of people, if they're working long hours, they're not getting a tan, they're not getting that color. So a lot of the time they've gone home or gone to see family, and the family are like, are you ill? Are you inside? What's going on? They've never had, the people at home normally are more tanned than they are. So
yeah, the pre-vacationers, definitely, to get that base tan. And actually our pre-vacationers are more male than female, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you too, what have they been doing up until now in Asia that you decided that you wanted to bring in the Airbrush Elite? Because they must have been doing something before. We're going to get to that whole thing, that whole concept about how you actually decided to be successful in your business. So how did you battle what was already going on, if there was anything already going on in Asia, specifically in Singapore?
I don't think it was a battle. Because a lot of, from my experience, our clients were using self-tanners.
Self-tan. Marisa, what's a self-tan? What do you mean by self-tan?
lotions or foams that you can buy in bottles. Not readily available here in Singapore, but there are online stores that bring the products in from, let's say, Australia or the UK or the US, where you can purchase them online for a premium price. I mean, the price that you would pay for a customized airbrush tan. You know, you get one jar. So ladies are doing this, applying it themselves, but missing all kinds of spots on the back, or just not getting the tone that they want, because, you know, tanning is not one size fits all. We look at a client, we look at your skin tone, and we advise and we consult. With a bottle of a product, what goes on is what is the color that you get at the end of the day. So a lot of my clients were self-tanning, you know, using products in their skin.
That's interesting, because it almost sounds like a person who goes into a salon to have either a pedicure or manicure in terms of women. So what you're doing is you're customizing the colors to that individual's needs, whereas they could actually do it on their own, but it's just not done as well as if you guys were to go ahead and do the color for them. Is that correct?
It's quite messy if you do it yourself, but I mean, you've never not had experience, but it can be very messy. And as Marisa said, you can't reach, unless you have a friend and you're doing it as a pair, you can't reach every single part of your body unless you're a contortionist. And I'm not sure that there's a lot of them that are out there. So it's difficult to actually give full coverage. And sometimes the creams go on as creams, so you can't see where you've placed it. So you might be a bit more heavier around your ankle, around your knee, or around your arm. And so you haven't got that even spread of colour. And the smell too can be quite pungent with a self-tanner, as well as the developing time. So it takes a long time to dry. You find that you're walking around like this for a long time, waiting to dry. So there's all those things. Whereas with ours, it's a tent, it's quick drying. Within 5-10 minutes, you can be dressed again. There's very little smell, no mess, no fuss. And it's just tidy, it's cleaner.
We're able to educate our clients on what products are, you know, what ingredients are in our products, and we're proud to speak about that. We have nothing to hide. And a lot of research went into, on our part, into finding which product we, you know, we're brave enough to bring into Singapore, and to put on the skin of, you know, our mission is to tan people happy, to tan all of Singapore happy if they want. But in order to do that and feel confident, there was a lot of studying and research that went into just what product was going to be worthy for us to bring in. So we feel with Infinity Sun, we're constantly not just spraying a color on, but also educating our clients on all the, you know, the different ways to care for your skin before the tan and after the tan. And a lot of complementing products as well, you know, which you'll find on our website. A lot of complementary products that contain all of the anti-aging qualities, like Joanne mentioned, aloe vera, collagen. It's very hard to find sunless products that contain the good stuff of the earth as well.
And that's really important, isn't it? Marisa and Joanne, because hold on, I'm getting some feedback here. Hold on. Okay, technology is wonderful. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I got that feedback. It's probably because I was going to ask some ridiculous questions, so I'll change questions. Okay. So, and that's really important. I'm going to stick to the same question. That's really important because so much in the health and wellness industry, we have things like diets that one size fits all. We have gym memberships and exercise equipment, one size fits all. We have things like dietary protocols, one size fits all. Or you buy a book, you buy the book, you do it, and then the author's not around. You go to the gym, unless you pay for the personal trainer, you go and do it on your own. So you're always left on your own and you're not quite getting it completely right. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about what you guys are saying, because what you're talking about is you're talking about a hands-on approach to actually helping people through this, where they were on their own before. Now they're going to get it right, which I think is really, really important. And it sounds like you two actually took that into consideration before even venturing into this business of airbrush tanning. Is that correct?
Yeah. I would definitely agree with those comments. The other nice thing that we find with a lot of the clients is they may have tried tanning, self-tanning, sunless tanning, airbrush before. They didn't have a positive experience, but they're willing to try again because they want to achieve that glow, etc. So I have clients but they're a bit tentative. They're a little bit nervous to go dark straight away, but that's maybe their ultimate goal. So with our system, because it's so, I guess it's the Rolls Royce of spray tanning systems, we can start them off on a low setting, a very light glow. And then I've got ladies that have started off really, really light. And now they are, like, we've fired up those numbers. They've gone from a low 9, which won't necessarily mean anything now, but it's quite light. And they're now rocking the medium 6. So that dial is being turned up and they're getting a bit more of an intense tan. And that's the beauty of the system. And also some of them, they want to be lighter here and they want to be darker on their legs. And we're able to do that and customize it to really suit. It's bespoke, basically.
Yeah.
It's like every single person has their own wants, and that's what we can achieve for them.
And, you know, to not bear that in mind is just, I mean, it's silly, because even when we're spray tanning one body, different parts of the body have different pH balance. You know, we have a different pH balance all through our body. So I'm sure a lot of ladies will, you know, agree with me here. We are all drier on the elbows and the knees than we are, for example, on our faces or, you know, other, you know, for our forearms. We have a different pH balance all through our body. And so one of the other spray treatments that we offer is called a pH balancing normalizing spray, which is literally a 10 to 15 second spray that is performed right before the spray tan. It's a hydrating mist that contains aloe vera as well as other pH balancing properties. And that just that creates an even canvas on the skin so that when we spray tan after, you don't end up with kind of the darker patches on the elbows and on the knees that you would if you didn't do that. So it's kind of like women will understand with cosmetics. We use primers or BB cream on our face before putting makeup on, and that creates that even canvas so the makeup goes on smoothly. We call it like the primer for the body, essentially. So it's something, you know, but yeah, it's just, you know, to your point is that it's bespoke, and we're looking at a body like not treating it as though it's just one block, you know, that we don't have to pay different attention to different areas of the body.
That's beautiful. Joanne, Marisa, how did you two come together? Share with us your journey before you started to become proficient as business individuals with Airbrush. At the very beginning, when you came on, help paint a picture for us. Are you like looking through a book on business and going, eeny, meeny, miny, and then just like, bing, this is the one we're going to do? What made you decide to do this, especially in a location, Asia, where you mentioned earlier that it was a bit, because the whole concept is a bit unusual because most individuals in Asia have darker tones on their skins. In the very beginning, what brought you two together?
Well, we actually worked in a corporate environment together, and we had, for about a year or so, decided that we wanted to venture into something else, but we were not exactly sure what that something else was. And so I guess we just happened upon this particular industry. We had a spray tan done. We decided we did a joint spray tan, and the first step, I guess, was finding a spray tan, and there were a few that we contacted that we didn't hear back from, and so when we then settled upon having one, it was the whole overall experience, like from having it done, the pre-care, pre-booking, then having it done, and then the aftercare, etc., and then how it faded on your skin, because that's also important. want to have. You get instant gratification from a spray tan, but you want that to continue. You don't want it to just be a 1-day occurrence. You want it to be a 7-day occurrence, and you want to look good for as long as possible. So there was like the aftercare. So we had that, and it was an okay experience. But we knew when we got talking about it, we were like, oh my God, I feel that there's a gap somewhere in the market, because there's a large population in Singapore and Asia, but there's only a handful of people that offer this service, if less than, actually, because there's not that many mobile. So we thought that there was a gap in the market.
So, I mean, we spent a week with great color on our skin, but then after that, I think we were just left with lots of questions, like, okay, well, was that it? I mean, how do we make this last? You know, what is that actually doing on my skin? What are the ingredients? And there was the whole education process to it. I mean, we are women who are vain. I mean, at the end of the day, we care about what goes onto our skin. We want to look youthful. We want to preserve that. We want to look good. And you know, what we put onto our skin matters. And that whole aspect of the education about caring for the skin together with looking good was missing for us. And so when we went into that, you know, as Joanne mentioned, we worked in the corporate world together, and we sat side by side in a harshly air-conditioned environment that was dulling us by the minute.
Wait. Don't brush over that. No pun intended. No. but go back to that, because I think, because here's the part of the program where we want to let people know in the health and wellness industry, when they are professionals, to go through those same kind of challenges, because you move from the corporate world. Share a little bit more about that. You started to talk about it, because we want to know how you and Joanne got together, because from what I've read, Joanne, you've been to the UK, and then you were also in New York. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You spent time there, and then
New York. I was at college in New York.
Right, and Marisa, your journey is from Thailand, Malibu, and Switzerland, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, good memory.
That's what I'm saying. You can't just brush over that. How did you guys connect? And how did you make this relationship? I mean, aside from the airbrush tanning, I mean, we know a lot about that. We want to know about the people behind that. I'm sure the viewers say, okay, I got it. I got the tanning thing now. I understand how successful the business is. I understand I'm going to call these two and I'm going to just get with it. But wait a minute. Who are these two ladies? Tell us about that. How did you start your journey together? You said you were sitting side by side in the same office. What were you guys doing before?
Well, I mean, Singapore's a melting pot, really. I mean, there's people from all over, so it's I guess not that unusual that our paths would cross. But I worked for German outsourcing company. I was operations director for APAC, and I'd been there for 5+ years before Marisa joined. But Marisa joined through a mutual friend had recommended.
So I joined as a regional account manager, so looking after commercial aspects and contractual aspects of our clients all throughout APAC. So that was our role, 12 hours a day, sitting in the office. We had a great location. We were located at Clarke Quay, so we had the nice view out to the sun, and the river. But that was about 1.5 years. And I come from a background, and my father is a serial entrepreneur. So I've just sort of seen that my whole life, is always looking for the next idea, and whether that's a commercially based idea, but if it's a commercially based idea, how do we turn that into something philanthropic? How do we educate ourselves in the process, as well as having the opportunity to educate other people, and maybe earn some money on the side as well would be good. And so Joanne and I became fast friends, and we just were always talking about living here in Singapore as expats. How long do we want to stay here? What do you envision for your life in Singapore? And we've both been here now 7 years, not really with any intentions to leave. So that's any solace to our current clients who tan with us. And then we stumbled upon this in December of 2016 when we had our personal spray tan. And we just started asking a bunch of questions. This was the thing that fired us up. And literally we were sending text messages to each other, you know, at ridiculous hours of the night, and just, we couldn't let it go. It was the one thing that we talked about that we were like, this is it. I think this is it. And then just the research began. And once the research process started on what products we should be looking at, then the fun just started. I mean, because, you know, we weren't just looking at the US, we were looking at Australia, the UK, and the US, kind of the pioneers in the sunless tanning.
Okay, go, Marisa, right there. Sorry to jump in here, but you mentioned that first you had the idea, then you started to text each other, and then you started to do the research, and then the fun began. So it's that progression, I think, that many times as entrepreneurs ourselves and other people out there, we kind of get caught up or we get lost. Can you help us understand, and can you help coach those women and men out there? But let's just stick with the women right now who are looking to start their own companies or are in the middle of an idea to start their own company, about the mistakes that people normally make. Because Marisa, you mentioned that your father was a serial entrepreneur. And so you're kind of like groomed to that role, right? Whereas a lot of people are not. Joanne, is your family in the private business or entrepreneurial business?
No.
Okay, so that means what happened is somewhere along the way, Marisa kind of like, you guys came together and you gelled really well, but most individuals out there are looking to make that first step. What would you encourage them to do based on your journey and your success now? How do you start out? How do you make sure you don't make XYZ mistakes?
I mean, I'm always in awe of people that do choose to make that step alone, because I'm lucky in that respect that I have Marisa and we can bounce off each other, and you always have your down days, and so we just don't have the same down days. So we keep each other buoyant, and I think for us, not a challenge, but a learning curve has been the social media side of things, and learning how to get the message out there to the new audiences, and penetrate new markets, and which is going to work best. Because Facebook is great, but we have found a lot of business coming in from Instagram, and we hadn't been prolific users of Instagram previously, whereas now we're learning all the tricks and tips and different ways and hashtags, etc., etc. So it's learning about social media. But then I guess it depends for any budding entrepreneurs what market they're looking to penetrate.
Right. And I would say also be fiercely passionate about what it is that you're getting into. Don't just look at the numbers at the end of the day, because, you know, if you are fiercely passionate about it, you are not going to resent spending quite a large number of hours in your day, you know, centered around your business. Because we are not just spray tanning. In addition to the spray tanning, there's the whole, what Joanne spoke of, which is the marketing aspect of it, and the research, and the nitty-gritty things like accounting and day-to-day, you know, and invoices, and you know, the monthly statements and things like that. So you had better be fiercely passionate about what it is that you are getting into, so that you don't resent at the end of the day the time that you spend into it. Because we don't, I know I speak on behalf of both of us, I mean, we don't ever look at the clock or block hours, or I mean, we are so flexible with our clients. You know, we're at 9-10 p.m. We're still tanning some clients because we enjoy it. If we didn't enjoy it, you know, we'd probably say, well, let's shut this down at about 6:30 p.m. and, you know, do some other stuff. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's being passionate. And also, you know, your question, Bill, was what do other women need to do to get out there? It's also knocking down the fear of networking. I mean,
okay, so Marisa, let's go there. So yes, about the need. So let's give 3 points to women who are watching right now.
Yeah.
The first point you were mentioning.
Well, I'm going to say, get your business cards printed. First of all, you're going to need that right off the bat. Second of all, research all of the different entrepreneurial groups, the Facebook groups that are out there. You would be absolutely shocked at how many organizations there are out there that are doing something similar or will provide a base of support for what you are doing. And 3, throw yourself out there. knock down those fears, knock down those insecurities, because you're the only person who's going to advocate, have the passion and the power to advocate your own ideas the way you can. Nobody else is going to do that on your behalf. So if you want to get your product out there and your brand known and to build exposure, you have to just put yourself out there to do it. And anyone who's doing this in Singapore, starting a business, we are so blessed. It's incredible. We are so blessed to be doing it here, because there's the support level that's out there for people like us, small to medium-sized, small now, small business. The support network is huge, and we've just been absolutely overwhelmed by people built like yourself, who, just willing, because it's fun and it's enjoyable to see other people start a business, and, the topic's interesting. So they give time. People will give you time to help answer questions. Sorry, this is another point. If I can add a fourth point, ask questions.
I was just going to say, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions as well, because people are so generous with the mentorship that they want to offer their pieces of advice and their best practices and things that worked for them, and referrals, etc.
Very interesting. And in terms of support network, in terms of marketing, in terms of confidence, and in terms of doing it as a passion and not as a 9-to-5 job, those are really interesting points, because we have a tendency to get caught up in the dollars and cents, right? Where we're doing it because we think we have, even though, that's the byproduct of it. We're putting food on the table and we're being able to explore things that require dollars and cents. But ultimately, it's about that, right? It's about enjoying what you're doing and the confidence. Marisa and Joanne, can you go ahead and highlight a little bit more about that whole confidence thing? Because I've been through that myself. I get to a point where I'm doing something, I think, oh man, am I doing the right thing? Is this, gosh, I just don't know. And so I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there who've gone through the same thing. How can we learn to be more confident in what we're doing and less cautious, so that we can do, as you mentioned just now, Joanne, just get out there and do it?
But you've just got to take that leap of faith. Honestly, nobody knows that you haven't got a clue with what you're doing. Nobody. So if you put your game face on and you just count to 10 and jump, or 5, whichever works for you. Yeah. And you've just got to put yourself out there. You're going to feel uncomfortable until you don't, but it's a fact of life. So you've just got to power through, put yourself into difficult situations or uncomfortable situations, and you'll be surprised. Some people, how many people probably in that space also feel the same way? And they might be a little bit more honest about telling you that they feel uncomfortable.
I mean, without sounding too new world, you have to trust the journey, and we are fortunate, like Joanne said, because we have each other at the end of the day, to kind of vent and talk through our learnings and whatnot. But if you don't have a business partner, you find a mentor, find somebody who's doing something similar to you, could be in a different industry that you can speak about, because the overall challenges are the same. We just want to build a brand, get it known, make some sales, and if you happen to love your product and are proud to speak about your product, proud to sell your product, well, then all the better. But everybody's path is going to be different. And I would say there is no wrong or right way to go about it. But networking is networking. I mean, I can't stress that enough. You just have to put yourself out there and join these groups. And you're going to be pleasantly surprised by how many people are in exactly the same boat as you. But they might be 2 months ahead of you, a year ahead of you. And people are willing, very, very willing to share their experiences. And, we've had so much learnings just in the past 3 months.
And also, collaborations. Collaborations with similar or complementing small businesses. People are very open to that. So if you are a new business, think about all of the different collaborating or complementing businesses or products, and reach out to them, because they're the safe zone. It's not going to be that crazy an ask if you consider, like for us, spray tanning, skin dermatologists or hairdressers or fitness centers. These are all places where it's a natural collaboration. So we would reach out to these types of industries and companies to ask about having a pop-up or doing some sort of special offer for their customers, because it's not that outside of the realms of possibility that their customers are going to be our customers as well.
That's great. And what I love about that, what I love about what both of you are saying is that there are several different steps and levels of confidence and growth that one must take in order to do whatever business that they want to do. And so that's kind of like why I wanted to start off with the Airbrush Elite and then move into who you are. Because the way I see it, Joanne and Marisa, it doesn't matter what businesses you two decide to do. It's the person behind the journey that's really, really important, because there are people who will log in and who are viewing this and go, I don't want to know anything about airbrush tanning and whatnot. But this is the core. It's not just about airbrush. It's about anything, whether or not you're going to open up a fitness center, whether or not you're going to write a diet book, whether or not you're going to increase your brand in terms of personal training. It's the mindset, it's about the resilience, and it's about jumping ahead to do exactly what you two have done. And those are the huge lessons that we want to learn. Of course, we got to toot your horn and your Asian Airbrush Elite. I know we got to do all that too, okay, which is great. But Marisa and Joanne, I really appreciate the fact that you opened up, because it's rare that, especially in Asia, where people are allowed to speak up, not about themselves, but about their journey and how it will help other people. And now I'm really into that kind of thing. And that's the reason why I like to bring people on like that. And so I really appreciate that. I'm going to let you guys go in just a moment, but we have a comment here. Let me just put this up on the screen from Lila White, who's watching. And Lila says, in Asia, whitening products are popular. How do you think you are going to help change this mindset? What do you guys think about that?
Hi, Lila. Thanks for your comments. Gosh, you're tanning beautiful. Lila, absolutely. Whitening products are extremely popular in Asia. And I don't necessarily think that we would try to, kind of fight that battle to change the mindset necessarily, because like I said when we first started the conversation, there are many different standards of beauty in the world, and none of them are wrong. It's just that we happen to feel that here in Singapore, there is a large enough market of women who appreciate the bronzed glow, the healthy bronzed glow look, or what is deemed healthy by us. So I don't necessarily, I see there's another comment there. You will see ESP Asian women walking with umbrellas, long sleeves hiding from sun color. Absolutely.
Yeah, and as Marisa said, we're not looking to try and change that mindset. What we're trying to do is the ladies or the people out there that enjoy being bronzed, but are trying to do that or achieve that color lying in the sun, with the boobs or with the UV boobs, we are trying to change that mindset and bring them away from that and understand that we only have one skin and it's going to be representing us for a long time. So we want it to be healthy. And if you like to be bronzed, then let's do it the safest and healthiest way possible. And that's through sunless tanning. So that's really the mindset that we're looking to change. We're not looking to change a whole industry of whitening products, because that's well established and people enjoy that, and that's fine.
That's brilliant, because, and I think that's important from a business standpoint as well, right? Because so often as entrepreneurs, we try to toot our own horns and explain to people why they should take our product, why they should do this over another product, and we're trying to jam this information into them. And so we're basically just selling something and they're walking away in the other direction. Whereas you guys, what you're doing is you're offering up an alternative to a place where people have been and where they're going to, a safer way. You're not trying to convince people to take your product or to join in with what your business ideals are. You're inviting them as a wonderful option and a better option, which is kind of cool.
And also, I'd just like to add, obviously, one of the other reasons we work with Infinity Fun is because of their range of products. Marisa touched upon it. So the ladies that want the whitening products, we have the shimmer, so they can shimmer, and we also have the goddess glitz, which are these beautiful metallic temporary tattoos. So they can enjoy aspects of our product range, just not the tanning side of things. Without tanning.
Great. All right, Marisa, Joanne, I'm gonna let you go, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to give us your last on what you want to know. But wait a minute now, there's a condition here. We don't want to hear your ta-da on Airbrush Elite Tanning. We want to hear about it as individuals. What do you want to say as entrepreneurs, okay, out there? What would you like to tell other entrepreneurs? I know you've mentioned a lot, but I want you to conclude it with something. Go ahead, roll with it.
Ooh. You go.
I mean, is it a word of it? Well, I have one personal comment to say. Since we started this business, I can honestly say a better friend, a better mother to my 4-year-old, a better partner.
And she sleeps better on a Sunday night.
Oh, I do sleep better.
On a Sunday night.
All because at the end of my day, based on what I do and how much I enjoy, not just the actual tanning process, but the educational process of it, when we're dealing with our clients. And we're meeting all kinds of lovely women all the time. And so it's like there's so much fulfillment that matches with my character. I'm a little bit of a social butterfly. I love meeting people. I love learning about people from all different walks of life and being a part of their happiness at the end of the day. I mean, when I leave their house or they leave, my studio location, they have better posture. They carry themselves better. They say, look at me, I haven't felt this way in so long. I can't wait to see what I'm going to wear tomorrow. I mean, this all beats, what I was doing previously in the corporate world by 1 million times. And so just for me to be able to go to sleep happy, knowing that I've made other people happy, and really no cliches there, it does make a big difference. And that's why I say be fiercely passionate in what it is that you're doing, because the rewards are a millionfold.
Yeah.
So that's my
that was more like a ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Okay, so that was way up here in the octave. Okay, Joanne.
No pressure. I would just say do what makes you happy. A few weeks ago, I bumped into a friend who I hadn't seen for a while, and he was just so down. He was so unhappy. He was so stressed at work. He was planning on leaving work, but he was kind of like the golden handcuffs, because you get a salary and you kind of become a slave to that salary. And we're only on this earth once, without getting too deep. Like, just go for it. Like, do what makes you happy. And you have moments where you worry, but honestly, they're never that bad. They really aren't. Just step outside your comfort zone, grab it with both hands. Mm-hmm. And he was saying to me, I'm so proud of you. I wish that I had the nerve to do it. And he'd been talking about wanting to do something himself since I've known him, but he never has. And he's never stepped outside that comfort zone. And he just carries himself. He's just not a happy individual. And it breaks my heart, because he's a good person. And you just want to shake him and go, just do it. Like, what would be stopping you? What's the worst that could happen? Right. That's what you have to think. What is the worst that could happen? And then jump anyway.
Yeah. And if you fall, back up.
Exactly.
Get back up and do it again.
So, back up and do it again. Jump in. How do you do that if you jump off a cliff? Then you back up and do it again, unless you have a tether.
Well, don't make the same mistake twice, exactly. Because then you're just an idiot. But just give it. Take that leap of faith. The worst that could happen is that you have to go back into the corporate world. And if that's the worst that can happen, you can live with that. But what you can't live is what ifs. Never have a what if.
Beautiful. That's great. Marisa, Joanne, thank you so much for being on this telecast, and all the viewers who are tuning in now or watching this on the replay. You're going to be able to see where Joanne and Marisa are working, and you'll be able to hire them because we're going to put those in. You guys, I want you to make sure, Marisa and Joanne, I want you to go ahead and put in the link below in the comment section when we come off here. It's been wonderful. I mean, I really hadn't planned on going in this direction, but it's inspiring. It's really wonderful.
Thank
really
you
wonderful.
to you, Bill, for making time for us
you.
this morning and allowing us to be on this platform. It's been a blast.
You're very welcome. And hey, look, it won't be the last time because I'm going to come at you guys again in terms of entrepreneurialism because we need to help them. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys later. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, that was Marisa Pitsch and Joanne Yeke with Airbrush Elite, and they're going to put in a comment. They're going to put in a URL in the comment section below. Folks, this week I'm getting ready to launch a new obesity series for Facebook Lives, and you're going to see there's also going to be another program that's coming out, so you'll be able to follow that as well. Like you to tune in this week and see the new stuff that's coming on. Go ahead and give Marisa and Joanne your best support and love, and go ahead and give them a visit. As you can see, they're delightful individuals. As a matter of fact, I don't have anyone but delightful individuals on this broadcast, okay? We do not allow awful people, okay? So I'm Bill Calhoun. Make sure you tune in this week. It's going to be Thursday and Friday as I release my new stuff. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.